Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever episode of Let's Talk Scoop, where we, the ladies of Let's Talk, basically bring you topics that we might not get to discuss on the show, but we are really passionate about talking about with you and with each other. And guys, let me tell you, today's episode is gonna get you just riled up. My name is Joanne, and I'm at yammymami.ke on all social media platforms. Welcome here.
My name is Naomi Wamboy. That's WAMB on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
I see what you mean. That's annoying to come after that.
Right?
Hi, my name is Lydia KM. That's Lydia KM on all social media handles.
And my name is Dana DeGrazia, Tesla Goddess Online. Hello.
Uncut. Good, darling. So excited
good.
to be here. These chairs are so comfortable.
Yeah.
We need to have these for the real
I
Let's
feel like
Talk.
they're so soft.
They are fantastic. So for Let's Talk Scoop, basically what we will do is just address topics that maybe you guys want us to talk about, or the things that we feel like we should talk about that we might not get to discuss on the show. So today we are talking about an issue that was sent to us on our social media platform on Instagram that we just could not stop thinking about. So we shared it yesterday and we thought we really wanted to come on here and discuss it. So I'm going to read what the question was sent to us by one of our lovely followers. And this is what she had to say. She said, a friend of mine found out that her husband of 5 years is gay. Pause for effect. Full stop. And he sleeps with her dad. And he sleeps with her dad. I don't even know how to encourage her. They have 2 kids. The 2 kids are 4 years old and 2 years old. She went on to say that she doesn't know how long it's been going on, but she was just surprised. What happened is that the lady had left her work and then she came back home to collect a document and she found her husband and her father having intercourse in the living room. After confrontation, the dad told her, quote, end quote, this is what the dad said, hii ndio maisha yangu, deal nayo. And the husband said it has been happening since the father supported him in his business, and that is what he asked for in return. She's so sad and so depressed. Yeah. Upon further prompting, we found out that the lady has moved out of the house and she's currently staying in a hotel, but she's not certain about how she wants to proceed. Okay. So her friend wants to know, what can she advise her friend to do?
I mean, first things first, I hope she's okay with you telling us this. Let's start there. Because this is like the most intense thing I've ever heard in my life.
Me too.
First of all, the father you've moved out, the lady or your friend, the father she's moved out is good because you're just appreciating that this is something that's bigger than me right now and I need to figure it out. And the space out of that situation is what you need right now so that you can assess, number one, financially, how you're going to be able to handle it with your children. Number two, emotionally, is this something which you're going to either ignore and just see as a one-time situation, or you're going to move on? You know what I mean? The space for me is the best advice. And whatever you decide, there is no obligation here because we don't have written a book about this one. Nope. There's no book that's been written where we can figure it out.
According to you, according to all 3 of you, what is the biggest issue with what she has found out? Is it the fact that it's her dad that the husband is sleeping with? Is it the fact that the dad could be gay? Is it the fact that the husband could be gay?
The issue is, to me the issue is what the dad did. And we were talking about this before because you made a really good point about how men tend to associate their pride with finances. And so the husband might have felt backed into a corner for what the dad asked. I don't think that I would be comfortable having the grandfather to my kids literally extorting sex out of my husband. Extorting sex out of anyone. That freaks me out beyond a level. Naomi, what do you think?
I agree. I think the dad is the biggest one in the wrong, but I still think that the husband too is in the wrong as well because he should have approached the wife, we're in this together, we're in a marriage. He should have approached the wife when the dad said, okay, I'm gonna give you X amount of money for these sexual favors. That's something that we would talk about in a marriage. Because you're stepping out, number one, on me, regardless if it's a woman or a man. But my dad, whoa.
Let me tell you.
So it's worse that it's the dad.
What?
For me, it's the whole exploiting thing, I completely understand. And I know there's plenty of people who find themselves in a situation where it's you really want this one big thing or this freedom here, but then there's this thing which you're exchanging. I feel like the dad is wrong on so many levels is ridiculous, especially his attitude towards it, get over it, is completely wrong. But now this is a marriage, you know what I mean? This is me and you, we've we've made this choice and we can break it. I can't break you being my father.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's
me
true.
and you, this is something we are choosing to and we are building to. I know it must have been hard for him to be like, how am I going to approach her? Like, you know, your dad was a thing.
Yeah.
You know, like, how am I going to approach you? But I can see how difficult that was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if it's like, I feel like you don't, like, I would like the person who I'm with to trust us enough that whether or not it's financial, whether or not it's something this big, that we can build together. As much as it would hurt me and it would shock me, trust that we are not going to die without the money my dad is giving me.
Right.
Trust yourself, bro.
So in the ideal situation, we all agree it would have been better if he
Yes.
had come
He just
to
said
her.
something. He
Yeah.
just said something from the beginning and been like, listen, I went to your dad for some business help and he wants something else and we just need to figure it out. Because I don't think the wife would have been like, take one for the team, baby.
Yeah.
It's family. No,
Yeah,
she wouldn't
it's
have
true.
said
I
that.
know. But me, I feel like, okay, now it's already happened. Like,
Yeah.
okay, you know,
From
we
here
really
now.
hope- yeah.
From
But
here
I
now.
like what you've said about the fact that when you're in a marriage, like, it's me and you. So, like,
Yep.
with my dad, with my whatever, no one else actually has, like, an obligation towards you
Yeah.
emotionally, financially, except your partner.
Yes.
But, like, now that it's already happened, what should she do? Because she moved out, but it's not that she's sure that she wants to leave the marriage. She's still trying to consider
Yeah.
what she wants to do. And me, let me be honest. After I read this yesterday, I just really tried to put myself in those shoes, and I'm like, my husband,
Yeah.
my father. And I was trying to think, would I actually leave my husband
Yeah.
because of
I
this?
think for
And
me,
so-
sorry.
And
No,
it
we
made
wanna
me
talk at the
realize,
same
it
damn
made
time.
me realize that
Easy.
there are very few things that I would leave my husband over.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
That's
strong.
But that not to say that that's what she should do. I don't know what you guys think. she
I
should
would
do.
advise her
Practically, yeah.
practically. I would advise her. I mean, I've never been married before, so I wouldn't know from a marriage standpoint. But take the time that you need. Take all the time you need and the space that you need. Like, it's good that you're in the hotel, like doing your thing. Take all of it and think about it. Think real hard. Like, is this marriage what you want? And if it is, and if you just want comfort in a marriage, then that's okay. Like, stay with him. Like, but I mean, like, when you're in that position, it's a different story, you know, especially when you have kids, when kids are involved in the mix, and it's harder to think about. So I can't advise her from my standpoint, but take all the time you need and just
I
really
think-
think
take
about
time.
it. Pray
Yeah.
about
Yo,
it.
yo.
Pray
Take
about it.
time to heal. Take your time to get yourself to a position where you think you're going to be best to make a choice.
Yes.
As someone who's not only married or anything like that, I would ask you, okay, how do you think you're going to view your father going forward, and how do you think you're going to view your husband going forward? Because to me, the way the father acted and the way that the situation tends to be laid out, I kind of consider your husband more of a victim than anything else. He felt backed into a corner, and I understand it's but the thing is, I understand everybody wants to say, oh, you have a choice, oh, you have a choice, but to me that could go so far as to be like, well, why didn't you fight him off? Why didn't you do this? Like, if you feel so backed into a corner to fight for your family, that could be how he felt. But if you're gonna continue on in your marriage feeling like, oh, I can't be married, he's not a man, he's not this, he's not that, because then don't stay with him and do individual healing.
Yeah.
But if you could stay in it, maybe think about it.
For me, personally, and I'm speaking from a place of, I tend to want the principles I have as a human being, the partner I'm with, to match those principles, right? First of all, we're in media. Do you know the amount of things that we could have done to get that one up?
True.
Like, even recently,
Yeah.
That
right?
happened. That
So
happened.
many things. It's not that there's so many things that someone who has power and want to exploit you sexually could have easily leveraged. For me, what I'm looking for in a partner is somebody who has these principles, because guess what? Those are the principles I want in my children. And you don't teach your children what you want to teach your children. You teach your children who you are. And for me, if we have a son together, the principles I want in my son is that money is not above everything, and the very least, communicate when you feel like you're backed into a corner, because that's how you guys move forward. My personal opinion is that if you give yourself enough time and you get to a point where you feel like this is not someone I want to move on with. My mom left my dad over something which is categorically out of line when she was not financially ready. Things were tough for us for like a couple of years before she was able to stand on her 2 feet. But guess what? She was able to make a choice from a place of, I know I'm not perfect, and I know neither is he, but I know there's a place where I can find a better situation for me and my children.
Lydia,
But
you don't sound the least bit empathetic to this guy at all. Is there
no,
any
let me tell you, guess
small part
why?
of you that
Because
feels
it's
like,
not like I've never been in that situation. To feel in a situation where it's like, whoa, like, you
But
know, I want
also-
something so bad right now, and the person who's holding it, I know if I just remove that leg to the right, I know exactly what I can get.
Do you
But
think
I
that
chose
women get
difference.
taught that principle? I feel like women get taught that principle a lot harsher because men don't get this situation as much. In the same sense of women, we're either taught that it's okay to open our legs and do this thing, or it's never okay and you should never do it. Men don't really get approached with this situation as often, so I don't think they have as strong of a muscle for it.
Let me tell you, this is the person who was with us is media. Do you know how many times a producer who's a female tries to get down with the guy for a role, and the person we got with was like, that's not who I want to be because I don't want to teach my son that you know you can just bend over because somebody needs
But
to
now
give you
also
money.
the question is, maybe this was just a lapse in his, you know, like character because of maybe a situation we are going through. Maybe this is not like who he is.
I agree. I don't think it's because that this is who he is. I'm just saying you had a lapse in judgment. Oops. These are the consequences.
Is it my responsibility to deal with the lapse?
But then, hold on.
Last
was this
word.
a one-time lapse or was this a couple-time lapse?
It was,
anyways.
so she didn't say she knows how long it's been.
Yeah, it was a
going
thing.
on, but it's been some time.
Yeah.
I mean,
But
the
we
way the
really
dad was
hope,
talking.
we really hope that if you've been watching this, that you have gotten something from what we are saying. I think we can all agree that whether or not you're going to leave the relationship, you need to just take some time to breathe, heal, and make a decision based off of like now, you know, in your proper frame of mind. And if you have anything that you'd like to say to this woman or to her friend who's going to be advising her, please leave it in the comments below. We would love to pass on that feedback, and we will ask them to read the comments as well so that they can also know what's been happening. Thank you for joining us on our very first Let's Talk Scoop. We will be back next week, same time, same place. I'm Joanne at yummymummy.ke on all social media platforms.
I'm Naomi Wamboy, WAMBOE on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter.
And I'm Lydia KM. That's Lydia KM on all social media handles. Thank you so much for being here, guys.
My name is Dana DeGrazia. It's Hustle Goddess Online. Welcome to Let's Talk Uncut.
See you guys next time.
Bye.